Next up, at UFC Des Moines, we have an interesting matchup between two wrestlers, Azamat Bekoev and Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder, 7-1 in his career. He is 4-1 in his last 5 on a 3-fight win streak, taking on Azamat Bekoev, 19-3 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5 on a 7-fight win streak. Azamat Bekoev is a well-rounded guy. He made that splash in his UFC debut. He's got some powerful strikes, some solid takedown defense, solid takedowns offensively, and good BJJ. He's pretty much good everywhere. His technique is not truly the cleanest, and he's not like insanely fast, but he is very powerful. He uses that power well, and he does have the wrestling. His takedowns are also powerful. They're heavy. Many of them are slams. The strikes are big. There's right hands waiting for you. He's not the biggest guy for this weight class, but he closes the distance well. He moves forward with pressure, and he's got solid cardio. He's coming off that big finish win over Zach Reese in his UFC debut. He's taking on Division I wrestler Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder is also the Ultimate Fighter champion. In the octagon, he's a cautious, take your time, worry about what's going to happen wrestler. He walks forward, gauges distance, gets you to back up, then he'll go all in on the wrestling. He does not throw a lot of strikes. But what he will do is plot forward and wait for you to commit to something so he can lower the level and take a shot. On the ground, phenomenal control. And that's what you expect from a D1 wrestler with great hips. He's not really looking to finish, but overall, he's a good wrestler with some solid grappling awareness. I talked about this in my quick picks. There's always debates when you get a high-level American wrestler and then an untested foreign wrestler. And what I mean by that is it's not as if Azamat Bekoev or let's say any of the Dagestanis, for example, are competing in international competitions. We don't have their version of collegiate wrestling to reference or to go off of. We just know he's a Russian, which has solid wrestling programs, and he's a good wrestler. We also don't know what would happen at any sort of international level because the Russians are banned from most of those international competitions. So I'm always interested when we get high-level wrestlers from different nations where we don't have accolades to go off of. For example, a Bo Nickel versus a Hamzat. We know how good Bo Nickel's wrestling is. It's been tested both domestically and internationally. Not Hamzat. Apparently his wrestling is legendary, but we quite literally have no idea. This is a similar type matchup. Ryan Loder is the Division I wrestler. Azamat Bekoev is a phenomenal wrestler, but we don't really have accolades or a resume to list off of to determine how good he is or is not. So this will be a fun matchup. And many times with matchups like this, it comes down to who shoots first. In this case, that is likely Azamat. Azamat also has bigger hands. He has bigger power. If Ryan Loder gets a takedown, this could be a very interesting fight. But I do think Azamat's going to get it done. I think he's just quite literally better everywhere. And as long as he doesn't get taken down first, he should be fine. Azamat is the pick. And these odds are honestly pretty appropriate. I don't think they're very wide. What do you think, Samuel?
Yeah, I mean, when I first looked at this slate for this weekend, I was like hunting for my underdog opportunity. I saw the big plus money here on Ryan Loder. I remembered how he finished up Valentin in round 2 in that crucifix position with the elbows, and I was like, well, maybe with his wrestling credentials here, he'll be able to do the same to Azamat Bekoev, get him in a compromised position, land ground and pound. I went back and rewatched the tape on Azamat Bekoev because I had already taped them recently for the Zach Reese fight. And the reason why I lean towards Zach Reese in that matchup, huge mistake, by the way, I will admit that very, very, very quickly. Pick. But the reason is because in the past, Azamat Bekoev has looked like he has cardio issues later in fights and against fighters such as Dylan Budka. His wrestling hasn't looked that good. But one thing I will say is that Azamat Bekoev's ground and pound can be vicious, and his round 1 upside is huge. I believe, off the top of my head, I don't have the stats in front of me right now. I think 9 out of his 19 wins are like round 1 finishes, either via submission or KO. It's something like that. It's around about a 50% round 1 finish upside. So Azamat Bekoev definitely has huge round 1 upside finish capability here. And he's definitely on those Russian vitamins. You can say what you will, but he's on that Carlos Leal diet program. As Bobby Green said, that Russian vitamins they're giving to kids there in camps there. Azamat Bekoev is melting the cup here if they test him. And I think that's going to help him here because if they get into a 50-50 exchange and Ryan Loder's a little bit, not so hot to switch into a new position, he's going to end up underneath Azamat Bekoev, and Bekoev will just pound his face in. We just saw it recently over in, I believe it was the PFL. Mark Jacasey just got rounded out by a Russian dude, round 1, gets chinned. I could see the same thing happening here where Ryan Loder starts trying to play jiu-jitsu off his back and is eating ground and pound quicker than he realizes he knows what's happening. So Azamat Bekoev, round 1 finish is my prediction here.
Yeah, it should be an interesting fight. I do think he wins. Obviously, there are some concerns anytime you get a big, strong wrestler, 6'2", a southpaw, D1 wrestler. The only reason I'm not very confident in Ryan Loder, who fits the bill of somebody I would normally be confident is, he does not go all in on the wrestling. He's a little too hesitant, takes his time. Sometimes like he doesn't just start spamming takedowns, shooting over and over and over and over and over. So if he's waiting, he's hanging around the feet a little too long, he's waiting for a shot to come in, it's going to be a problem for him. $6,900 in DraftKings Fantasy to $9,300 in DraftKings Fantasy. If you don't know what those numbers are, DraftKings Fantasy is effectively fantasy football, but for fights. You have a $50,000 budget. With that budget, you have to pick 5 fighters or 6 fighters based off of their salary. You then take those 6 fighters, you build your lineup, and you take that lineup and you compete against other people, sometimes just for fun, sometimes for money. And when you have a specific salary to work with that you have to get fewer than $10,000 per fighter, $9,300 is a lot of money to spend. But if he can score the points, he could put up 100 plus points, he can find a finish, do all those things, then it was money well spent. I do think Azamat probably will be money well spent because he does have the upside with the hands. He's got the upside with the wrestling. And ultimately, I think he will get it done. If you do want to check out the tools, we have tools that will help you build a DraftKings fantasy lineup. We have tools that will straight up build it for you. We have tools that will help you find bets. We have a tool called the Prop Hunter. Curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. Unlock every single one of those tools, as well as copy-paste bets from the boys. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for the entire month. That includes UFC 315 next week, the Gilbert Burns fight card after that, the Aaron Blanchfield fight card after that.